Wise, responsible, measured, and steady. You know you're in the presence of a one, and as their name, the improver, indicates, ones can essentially improve anything that's within their sight. In fact, it's their superpower, and you'd be crazy not to listen to them. Ones can sniff out what's wrong and correct the course of action to help anyone who's open to listening to their precise, critical eye. And though that critic can serve to improve things, the flip side of it is that it's often a loud, mean, and relentless inner voice that the one can never truly escape. I'm walking you through an overview of Enneagram Ones today, catching a glimpse into their loud inner world, but be sure to stick around until the end of the video to find out what ones need to practice in order to be more conscious, balanced beings. Let's address that inner critic first. If you're curious or debating about what type you might be, ones are most identifiable by that loud, nagging inner voice that is constantly telling us to do better. See, in childhood, these little humans, we receive the message that the world rewards good behavior and withholds or scolds bad behavior. And they likely grew up with someone close to them that was doling out constant criticism. In efforts to avoid this pain, little developing ones become so intuitively efficient at anticipating what might earn them criticism and then work diligently in the opposite direction towards goodness or what they perceive to be right. Doing the right thing. Ones are the third type in the gut or body triad. This is their center of intelligence, meaning that the way in which they take in or process the world is experienced through the body. Corresponding to this triad, of course, is the core emotion anger, which also happens to be the passion of the one. Let's tear this apart so we can put it all together. The three types in the body triad all share the common emotion anger, which means it sits just under the surface of the skin, simmering, but ready to rear its ugly head at any moment. Specifically, though, ones experience their anger as resentment. See, the fixation or the fear of the one is of being bad. So with all of their black and white thinking, good and bad labels, ones label the emotion of anger as bad or an unacceptable feeling. Therefore, there's this non-conscious need on the one's part to tamp down, bury even, their anger, because to externalize it like a direct, bold 8 would be considered inappropriate to the one, and ones have a deep, deep desire to be good. They seek integrity in their lives by holding themselves, others, and the systems around them to the highest of high standards, both morally and ethically. For the most part, they're rule followers, unless, of course, a rule doesn't make healthy sense, in which case you can put money down on the fact that they're going to tell you and the authorities how you can and should fix it. And here comes the fuel for more resentment. No one cares enough or as much about improving themselves or the world as a one does. At least that's how we tend to see it. So while others are daring to, as Glennon Doyle would say, relax at them or prioritize anything other than responsibilities first, a one holds this deep resentment for this self-assumed job of picking up everyone else's slack. And as part of the self-forgetting triad, on top of being buried under this constant heavy load of responsibility, ones tend to forget to prioritize fun and pleasure because the to-do lists are never done. Okay, it sounds like I've been picking on ones a lot here, and I might be overcompensating for the fact that I don't want to sound biased in my description as a one myself. So let's ease up with some other facts. What are some of the good qualities of the one? Ones have the most integrity of all of the types on the Enneagram. They are meticulous, methodical, and reliable individuals. And though they struggle to express their own anger, ones will gladly and heroically take on just causes and fight on behalf of others as a safe and appropriate outlet to channel their anger. See, here, anger actually feels moral and right. Type 1s value efficiency, and they seek to instill it in their systems, routines, and communication. It's not surprising then that their communication style is called teaching, since this is what they feel they are offering those around them, a better, more efficient way of living. Without careful self-awareness, though, our communication style can very much come off as finger-waggy or preachy. Their unconscious motivator is to improve themselves, others, and the world around them. And though it sounds a bit negative, their constant scanning for what's wrong demands that ones live in the here and now or the present. Less direct than some types, but definitely not withdrawers, ones find themselves in what is called the dependent or with stance. And since we already know that ones have strong opinions, a very black and white way of thinking, this dependent stance doesn't imply that ones move with others for the sake of agreeing or pleasing. It's more so that they are observers. They want to know what the group is thinking, feeling, and needing. Ones want to know what the group is doing. Ones are idealistic, sensible, and can't fathom operating outside of their conscience. Think Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. If hearing the word improver just made you feel validated when most people in your life are accusing you of being a perfectionist, or hearing about the list making and rule following just made a whole lot more sense to you as an unconfirmed and potential one, or maybe your new understanding of the one in your life allows you to extend more grace and patience for their rigid ways of being, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and then keep binging to see the beautiful efficiencies of the other 8 types. At their unhealthiest, ones are rigid, unyielding, judgy, controlling, and critical. But remember, never more judgy, critical, or controlling than they are of themselves. They can get stuck in comparison mode and fixate on the imperfections of themselves, others, and the environments that they're in. At their healthiest, though, ones are excellent mentors, principled doers, attentive, and fair. They employ patience for process, including the patience for others' process of growth. And they learn to schedule fun into their daily or weekly list of to-dos. With their drive to do what is good and right and to make up for the infinite wrongs of this world, ones struggle tremendously with control. That's why serenity is the transformational growth path of the one. To recognize what the responsibility of another is and to let it be so. To own only what is rightly theirs to own and to let others figure out their own way of living and being, so as to not remain over-responsible and perpetuate the under-responsibility that they see in others. Serenity is what allows you to be truly responsible. Hey, thanks for watching. Number 2 is ready. Here you go.